On. Oh, you wish you were my leave. I cheat up the river with Judas. Tearing down the barrel of his gun. Yes, he shot me down. I died and someone brought me back to life, but never to my senses. Bounce on that shit, dance. Bounce on that shit, dance.
On plight of Christians in Nigeria. Either she's getting a check or she was MAGA the whole time, or she's genuinely thinks that she's doing something good, which, by the way, is why y'all need to have people around you that know more than you. And by y'all, I don't just mean celebrities. Everybody. Everybody should have people around them that they can consult with, that think differently than you, that hold you in a place of values. Just so you understand what's happening here with the plight of Christians in Nigeria, there is a plight of Christians in Nigeria. However, the U.S., what does that have to do with the United States? The United States is using this as a ploy, as a proxy, to find their way into Nigeria so that they can then find their way into the Sahel states of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who, as you know, are coming together to begin a process of Pan-Africanism on the continent. They are taking back their resources from France. They are saying we are going to build our own infrastructures. This undermines the global empire's goal. And so they have to try and shut it down. Now, we saw earlier this year with AFRICOM and that coon, that general who tried to say, oh, you know, they got some problems going down in Burkina Faso. They're continuing to try to make this happen the same way that they're making fetch happen in Venezuela right now. When do we stop allowing ourselves to be used?
Y'all, it is getting scary, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me play this. And then I'll get into my thoughts in the bars, because this is scary.
I want to allow you to fuck over no more Abraham Traore. He's a global terrorist. That nigga ain't never been outside his country, but he's a global terrorist. That nigga ain't never stepped foot outside his country, but he a global terrorist, nigga? How is that possible? They military don't have any goddamn weapons that could travel. All they got is guns. They ain't got no drones. They ain't got no planes like that, no war planes, but they are a threat globally. But you ain't got nothing to attack, nothing on the globe. So tell me, how are they a threat globally if they don't have anything to do anything to anybody outside their own country? So y'all telling me something, but am I smart enough to realize what the fuck you telling me?
Right.
Oh, he is a global terrorist because they natural resources will fuck up the globe if the nigga don't continue to allow y'all to fuck over him. Y'all terrified globally that if this nigga
don't share what he's...
That's what it is. Y'all terrified. The nigga is a global terrorist. He got all the entire globe shook up because now if we allow this nigga to do this, the country next door gonna realize and then the country next door to them, and the country on top of them, and the country over there. Oh, that's why he's a terrorist, because this nigga can possibly wake up an entire continent that y'all been relying on for centuries, that y'all say is a poor fucking country, a poor continent, a poor nations of people. But y'all entire existence relies on it.
All right. So I believe that it's a bad thing because of what I just showed y'all. It's not really smart for her to do that. And I understand she want her citizenship, but this is why I'm scared, because the Barbs, to me, as much as she screamed, go to college, get an education, they're not educated. They're not paying attention to what's been going on. And I don't think they understand that she doesn't care about their well-being. And this is why I said it was never about Christians. It was about power. What Africa has and other countries have and doing, they have a problem with that. So going to sit with these people to have a conversation, you're not Nigerian, you're darn sure ain't Christian, you just a Christian religion, you're not focus point on it, and you trying to sit here and make it look like that, just like Jaguar Wright, who was in Mar-a-Lago, huh? So we need to look at the agenda, right? So we're gonna go to TikTok, and there's some people that have some things to say, and I want to play the Barbs today because I want y'all to pay attention.
Real politics here. Listen, it's being reported that Nicki Minaj will speak at the United Nations on Tuesday, November 18th. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, wrote on X.
And also, y'all favorite, before we start, y'all favorite medium, she's saying what she wants to say, knowing what we're going through globally. I don't think that's smart. But y'all go ahead.
I'm grateful she's leveraging her massive platform to spotlight the atrocities against Christians in Nigeria. And I look forward to standing with her as we discuss the steps the president and his administration are taking to end the persecution of our Christian brothers and sisters. Nicki Minaj responded saying, "Ambassador, I am so grateful to be entrusted with the opportunity of this magnitude. I do not take it for granted. It means more than you know." She went on to say, "The Barbs and I will never stand down in the face of injustice. We've been given our influence by God. There must be a bigger purpose." Now, if you don't know, Nicki Minaj has recently came out in favor of some of the things that President Donald Trump has been doing, and this could be the reason they are having her speak at the United Nations. I'm going to hold my thoughts for the moment, but what do you think? Real politics here. Listen, it's being reported that Nicki Minaj will speak at the United Nations on.
Let's go to a Barb.
Alongside you.
Oh, well, let's look at the Stitch with a Barb. Who he smack pops, he don't care. He's like, yay, this is great. Whatever Nicki does is awesome. He don't care if she poop on a child. It's the best thing in his life.
U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz. Do y'all not understand how big this is?
I don't think the Barbs even understand how big it is. And y'all know me in the content that I share. And y'all be like, nah, bro, like, how did you switch over to Nicki Minaj? Because the Lord told me to. Because the Lord told me to. He told me to watch her. Yesterday, she was on Spaces on X. I was a part of the first ever Federal Bureau of Barbs of Intuition. I think I got it right, okay? Now, she had told us that she was going to be speaking up for the Nigerians who were Christians who were persecuted. Imagine having a platform that big and using it for Jesus Christ.
Alongside U.S.
It's not about Jesus, and that's what they're missing apart. It's not about Jesus. This is what this man had to say.
Here we are at the United Nations. where the United States government has failed to show up because Donald Trump doesn't want his report card on human rights. I think we all know why people don't want their report card, because it's full of F's, D's, D minuses, and E's. I'm sure avoiding his report card is not new to Donald Trump. He doesn't love education. He doesn't like books. He doesn't like democracy. He doesn't like an honest view of history. I'm sure. But I'm here to say that I came here with a number of other electeds. We had the input from the mayor of Chicago. We had some great information coming out of Los Angeles. And we came here because
I just want y'all to understand it's not about God. The way that this country has been going downhill, about people and their health care, people eating, is not of God. Churches not having the funds, it's not of God. Churches sitting here calling on homeless people, it's not of God. There is not, if we did the research, we did, and there were more Muslims than Christians, and it's going to Africa, Nigeria specifically, for the resources they have. It is not of God to, no, they're going to steal. They're going to steal. Like, what part don't y'all understand, Barbs? They're going to Africa to steal and make it worse. You want me to tell you who's creating that genocide? And we said it. Who's over there? How did they get this intel to that? It wasn't no video. Come on, man. Y'all got to put y'all brains together. This is not about no Jesus. I'm telling you, this is not about Jesus.
Everyone, it's been an incredible year so far, and I'm really looking forward to the next few months as I have a couple of humanitarian campaigns coming up to help people in need.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Let me stop sharing.
So, breaking news that is indeed breaking. In some newly leaked email, it confirmed that Epstein was speaking with one of his associates about trying to genetically modify and enhance Black people. You heard me correctly. You heard what I said. Imagine being that big of a pedophile and your top concern is genetically modifying Black people to be smarter. When you're not genetically trying to modify Black people to be...
Yeah, hold on. Because the bar was like, this is great. You know, we're fighting for the Christians. And I have asked every bar that I have fought with, that came at me and everything, I have asked y'all a Bible verse. I haven't gotten one. I haven't gotten one. I haven't not seen one education of a Bible verse to me. So let's listen to this person. Not one. And I don't want John.
G. Walls and Trump advisor Alex this week at the United States Nation to speak on the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. They are reportedly set to speak on Tuesday. What really baffles me about this is Nicki Minaj has never, ever really been an outspoken Christian. So I don't know where all this is coming from, but I do know this right here. There's a reason why the Trump administration is using her music and using her likeness. She will never push back because she knows that if she does push back, her ass is out of here. Let's read it. No, Nicki Minaj is not a U.S. citizen and remains a citizen of Trinidad. She moved to the U.S. as a child, has lived there for many years and pays millions of taxes, but she has publicly stated she is not a citizen. I don't pay any attention to Nicki Minaj. I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. I know Nicki Minaj don't do politics. The Trump administration is using this to their advantage. They know she is the biggest female rapper of all time. Why not prop her up? That way it can draw more people into their circle. All of this is strategy when it comes down to Donald Trump and the Trump administration. They know how popular she is. They know her following. they are using this to their fucking advantage. She has to go along with the ride. If she does not go along with the ride, she's on a one-way ticket up out of this motherfucker.
And what did Amanda Seales say? Why would you allow yourself to be used? The whole time she been here, she could apply for her citizenship long ago when she first got into the game and she signed that contract. Hey, CC Life, Nicki could apply for that. Nicki did not. And I want, and this is what I'm saying, it be baffling me because I'm like, girl, I understand where you coming from. But at the same time, baby, it never was about Christianity. You're going to speak, and then if they sit here and try to take their resources, they're really using Nicki Minaj as a shield, because guess what they finna do? They finna blame Nicki Minaj. They're not finna blame him. They're looking at it as, well, if we use her, they'll blame her. We can have another black artist they can blame. We got another black artist they can blame. And they're not going to blame. They're thinking they're not going to be blamed, but Trump going to be blamed because we know what you're doing. But his administration too. But guess what? Ooh, let's put the black woman who is a female rapper, a big platform fan base that has stood up for us, tagged us. Let's use her as the front shield to get where we need to go for Nigeria. This is why it was never about a religion or beliefs. It's about resources. And the Barbs and Nicki Minaj are falling right into the trap. It's sad. It's sad. Because we're not gonna act like it's Smack Pops. He took his video down. Maybe because I blocked him. Did I block him? No, he took it down, y'all. Let me go, because I don't think I blocked him. Because I could see his stuff. I probably did, because he was getting on my nerves.
Yo, I know I can't be the only one that's trying to figure this out. In the midst of all of this that's going on with the riots and everything, you feel me?
Child. He been suspicious to me. I think I did block him, y'all. Oh, well. Anyway. Because I feel like if you educate yourself on this and that, you only following behind this. And another thing with Smack Pops, you only educate and find yourself behind this woman because you are a fan. You really don't educate yourself. You only take for what she said and then you're going to look for it. I have not seen you educate yourself in no areas that need to be educated on.
Just when I thought that things couldn't get weirder and stranger, but I guess I didn't have this one on my bingo card. Currently, Nicki Minaj is going to be speaking at United Nations on behalf of the Trump administration. Girl, was Kanye busy that day? Y'all, we are living in a motherfucking simulation. I think we're about to take this lady seriously. Do we need to remind y'all and bring up the tweets from like a month ago about Barney B, 123, ABC, perjury, robbery, this and that, you and me? Is Donald about to get her husband off the registry? I don't understand what's going on right here. Remember how we used to ask the girlies if it's Team Cardi or Team Nicki? It's Team Cardi all day. Nicki, this is quite embarrassing. But I guess it's pretty on par for somebody who is literally married to a sexual predator, so pop off, I guess, sis. Just when I thought that things couldn't get weirder and stranger, but I guess.
Another thing I will say is a lot of people are going towards Cardi fan base. Some people, and I feel like that's the strategy that's going to happen because Cardi sat down with Bernie Sanders. She sat down with, when she did her interview, her talk with Biden, they were having a conversation about things that was happening in the Black community and things that he was trying to open. The Republicans voted no on, and they were still trying to get past through some things. And now we see who why Biden and Obama certain things couldn't pass. Who was the culprits? Them 8 Democrats who just grind my gears. But they were having a conversation, y'all. And she sat down and she was like, listen, we got to think about the people. We got to think about the people that's on health insurance. We got to think about the people that need this and that. I want to say to the Barbs, I don't think she care about y'all. I'm really going into her. She care about her getting the citizenship. I don't think she give a fuck about y'all. And it's just being honest. I really don't. Because not once has she addressed anything that is going on in America. She hung up on a fan who said that he was being mistreated. And he felt like he was one of the 30, 40,000 of Black people that could lose their job because of the DEI. She put that man on mute. She don't give a fuck about y'all. This woman ain't sitting here talking about health insurance. This woman is I don't care. Let me tell you something. Rihanna. You want me to tell you what Rihanna did? Rihanna, November, said, y'all go vote blue. And somebody say, you're not a citizen. And Rihanna said, I don't give a fuck. This is... it's not a good thing. I feel like it's not right for it to happen. Let's hear somebody else.
Is Nicki Minaj joining the Trump administration? What? So Nicki Minaj tweeted, Ambassador, I'm so grateful to be entrusted with an opportunity of this magnitude. I do not take it for granted. It means more than you know. The Barbs and I will never stand down in the face of injustice. We've been giving our influence by God. There must be a bigger purpose. I guess she's answering to Ambassador Mike Waltz, saying Nicki Minaj is not only arguably the greatest female recording artist.
Nicki, I wouldn't sit down and talk to Mike because Mike like leaking text messages. Mike like releasing the wrong text.
But also a principled individual who refuses to remain silent in the face of injustice. So supposedly, it says after weeks of tweeting support for President Trump, rapper Nicki Minaj will join Trump's United Nations ambassador this Tuesday at the UN to speak about the alleged persecution of Christianity in Nigeria. Nicki Minaj is not from Nigeria. She's from Trinidad. This is an issue President Trump has threatened using the military to solve. What? So is Nicki Minaj joining the Trump administration? What are you guys' thoughts? Is Nicki Minaj joining the Trump?
Right, so a lot of the LGBTQ is also upset with her. And we're going to go over there because I feel like they don't care. Now, a lot of Barbs are sitting here. They're kudoing. They love it. And some people are just like, no. They feel like she's depressed. They feel like she's just doing anything at this point because it's not what people think it is.
Nicki Minaj. She has decided that the path back to relevance is jumping into Felon 47's push to justify a U.S. invasion of Nigeria. U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz and Felon 47 advisor Alex Bruzewitz are rolling her out to talk about persecuted Christians. And of course, she signed on instantly. Not because she understands the issue, but because she sees a stage, a microphone, and a headline. She knows exactly what she's doing. And that's what makes it so tragic. Nicki isn't being dragged blindly into politics. She's choosing this because she's desperate to matter again. Felon 47's team didn't pick her for anything other than she's a volatile, attention-hungry opportunist and willing to attach herself to anything that gives her a hit of relevance. And she's leaning into it because chaos is the only place she feels visible. Instead of elevating experts who can explain Nigeria's complex situation, complex violence, land disputes, ethnic conflict, extremist groups, Felon 47's people picked Nicki Minaj, a damaged celebrity who will say the lines and play the role. Her need for validation is blinding her from seeing they're exploiting her weakness openly. And the pathetic part about this whole thing is that Nicki keeps framing this like it's a calling. It's not. It's avoidance. Avoiding the fact that her career is slipping and avoiding the emptiness controversy used to fill. She's clinging to political chaos because she has nothing left to cling on to. And that's the saddest part. She knows this attention is cheap. She knows these men aren't elevating her. They're using her. They're putting her on stage because...
And the one thing I want the Barb's fan page to understand, their tactics is what they're using so they can blame y'all girl. Y'all not catching on because y'all think this is the best thing ever. It is not. Watch that. I know y'all so far up her career, what she got going on, fighting for her every day. But I need y'all to take a break from social media take a break from Twitter. Come to Instagram and Threads and look at the things that people are saying. Educate your girl that she's about to railroad herself. I want y'all to go on Threads and Instagram and look up the tactics that these folks have used in order to do these things. It's not going to go good for her tomorrow. I'm telling you right now, it is going to be a ish show. And y'all sitting here defending her as fan pages are really going to railroad your girl. And this is why I say, do the Barbs really love Nicki? Or do they just like her because they don't like other artists? And I'm not trying to be funny, it's being honest, because y'all don't have her best well-being. The Beehive came out here and said what we didn't like. Trust me, she's going to listen because we're not being disrespectful. But the thing is, y'all girl is not sitting here and looked at it as she's being used as a pond.
She's loud enough to distract and desperate enough to comply. And she's accepting it. Because the alternative is facing her own decline. Nicki Minaj isn't rising to a new purpose. She's tap dancing for a white supremacist administration. She's collapsing into whatever spotlight will still have her. And everyone sees it except her. Ugh, Nicki Minaj, Nicki Minaj, Nicki Minaj. She has decided that the...
And should I say more? It's not a good thing. We're going to go into it before I leave also about how... And Africa is going through what Africa has again because y'all not understanding it. Hold on. They are very upset by this because she's very anti-trans in their eyes. And they're not happy about it. And they're starting to feel like she used the LGBTQ, which is mostly her fan base, to come up and okay. He's playing a song, but I'm gonna mute it. But they feel like she used the LGBTQ to come up. Yes.
Barbs. If you're not a Barb, you can stay if you want to. Why is it taking now, as in the post that Nicki Minaj shared about anti-trans for the White House? Why is that what's making you guys leave her fandom? Why wasn't it the time when she married a pedophile? Why wasn't it the time when she was a pedophile herself? Eating Dexter. Why was it it when she was making fun of dead mothers? Why wasn't it when she released that god awful fucking song called Bigfoot? Barb's and their priorities, man. Y'all have zero. I have a
Who but Nicki Minaj would go full MAGA as that house is burning down? I'm just saying, it's wild. It's almost funny that she is so out of touch with what's cool now that she's going MAGA as the house is burning down. She took the red pill as everyone's realizing they've been duped. It would be funny if she wasn't up in her high tower throwing down anti-trans propaganda to the masses.
And she is.
So sorry, Barbs, all three of you that are left. What are we doing? She's red-pilled. Are you taking the red pill too? Are you going to agree with her? Because the LGBTQIA plus community put her up in that high tower, and we can take her down just as easily. So I suggest that the Marsha P. Johnson, the P, that stands for pay them no mind. Let's pay her no mind. Let's pay her no likes. Let's pay her no comments. Let's block her because she's a problem for our community. She's out there validating the bad ideas that anti-trans people have. Barbs, take Barb out of your profile. Otherwise, you've become an enemy of the LGBTQIA plus community. So what are we doing? And she hasn't had a hit in a decade. Can we be honest? Can we be honest? She hasn't had a hit in a decade. Every time a new Nicki Minaj album drops, I listen to it, and every time I'm disappointed because it sucks from beginning to end. And I'm just going to throw this out there too. Kim would never. Kim would never. She respects the people that put her where she is. Nicki Minaj looks down at us and spits in our faces. Just saying. Who but Nicki Minaj would go full MAGA as that house?
They are not happy, honey. All right, let's go to Africa. Let's travel. Oh, yeah, they talking about their resources now. Oh, shoot. TikTok done hit a new one. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to play some videos, okay? Here we go.
Here are clear and practical answers to how Africans can actually benefit from their mineral resources, not just theory, but what works. Number one, focus on producing finished goods from the mineral resources and not exportation of raw materials. Africans make little to no profit by exporting raw materials. Where the real profit is in the production of finished goods. So we must ensure that we build refineries, smelters, and processing plants to produce finished goods here in Africa. And we must also add in that any foreign company that comes into Africa to buy any raw mineral resource must also process it in that African country from which that resource was purchased. Number two, negotiate better contracts that will favor the citizens and not foreigners. We must make sure that any contract we enter with foreign countries, I'm of the opinion that we don't need foreign companies before we can grow and develop on this African continent. But let's assume that a foreign company is about to come to Africa to mine. We must make sure that we negotiate good contracts with them, that we favor the citizens. However, the foreigners want to go about their interests is entirely their business, but we must make sure that the contract favor Africans. By employing a qualified lawyer to negotiate these contracts, adding in a clause that will prevent exploitation, and we must own at least 40% of that mine, at least. And that mining company must employ locals and train them. Number three, we must build institutions that will stop corruption. Mineral resources are of no benefit to the citizens if the money that is being made are going into private pockets. So we must ensure that the money is being used for the nation. Corrupt politicians are punished. Infrastructures are being provided for the citizens in terms of hospitals, schools, good roads, and stable electricity. And we must also ensure that the citizens are receiving a certain token at a certain period directly. I want you to note this. When corruption is low, resources become a blessing. But when corruption is high, resources become a curse, as it is in many African countries, especially Nigeria. The fourth one is that we must protect local communities and their interest. Most of these foreign companies, when they come here to mine, they mess up that community in which they are mining, and the citizens get to suffer, and their standard of living becomes very low. In fact, they become very poor. So any foreign company that is coming to mine in any community must make sure they pay community tax. They must employ the citizens of the community to work in that company. They must build infrastructures in that community. And all the locals that are working in the company must be compensated for any damage or accident that they incur as a result of working in that company. And the fifth and final one for this segment is that we must encourage and support African-owned mining companies. Most of the mining companies that are in Africa right now are either Chinese-owned, European-owned, American-owned, or Middle East-owned. We need to make sure that we as Africans own the exploration sites, processing plants, and export routes, so that we'll be getting the benefits entirely. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to make a part 2 to this video. But if you want me to make the part 2, you are interested in it, write part 2 in the comment section. And remember to take your safety.
Alrighty.
Trump don't care about the Black Christians in America, so you're not going to convince me that he cares oh so much about the Christians dying in Nigeria. So what is it about? What can Nigeria do for him? Nigeria is rich in resources, natural resources, oil,
bingo,
minerals,
bingo,
gold,
bingo,
fertile land,
bingo.
So how can that benefit him in the US of A? That is the real reason Trump is attempting to send troops to Nigeria. And he needs to please his evangelical Christian base by saying it's because they're unaliving Nigerian Christians. Trump don't care about the Black Christians in America, so you're not going to convince me that he cares oh so much about the Christians dying.
We see how he's treating the Christians and the homeless, and I keep telling y'all, they want to take the Christian because it's about stealing. I explained to y'all what Christian nationalism is. They want to take the Christian faith base, put it towards the target of what they want to use so they can drive it into Christian nationalism. I have explained this to y'all. To steal. What? Let her talk. Go ahead, girl.
In Nigeria. So what is it about? What can Nigeria do for him? Nigeria is rich in resources, natural resources, oil, minerals, gold, fertile land. So how can that benefit him in the US of A? That is the real reason Trump is attempting to send troops to Nigeria. And he needs to please his evangelical Christian base by saying it's because they're unaliving Nigerian Christians. Trump don't care about the Black Christians in America, so you're not going to convince me that he cares oh so much about the
And that's exactly what he's doing. Let's hear someone
My thing
else.
with Nigerians and this whole issue with Trump is this. If you're here in America, you see how much our economy has destabilized in the last 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that Trump is going to do to Nigeria that will help us? Please, I am genuinely asking for understanding. If you know anything about American history, you will know that America does not actively take interest in any country that does not have any economic benefit to them. Think about it. So you guys think that a country that cannot fix its own problem, a country that has removed benefits from millions of Americans, is not going to help benefit Nigeria? And you guys are clapping. Oh shit, Daddy Trump, Daddy Trump. Trump, thank you. Are you guys well? And it's honestly frustrating to see the degree of Stockholm syndrome that Nigerians have. This infatuation with submitting to the white supremacist force is just disgusting to watch at times. I literally cannot stand it. Is the economic situation in Nigeria horrible? Absolutely. I understand that I'm speaking from a point of privilege as someone who's in the diaspora. I get that. But to be ignorant enough to think that Trump is the solution is where I'm just like baffled. My thing with Nigerians and this whole issue with Trump is this. If you're here in America, you see how much our economy has destabilized in the last 10 months. What do you think that Trump is going to do to Nigeria that will help us? Please, I'm genuinely asking for understanding. If you know anything about American history, you will know that America does not actively take interest in any country that does not have any economic benefit to them. Think about it. So you guys think that a country that cannot fix its own problem, a country that has removed benefits from millions of Americans, is not going to help benefit Nigeria. And you guys are clapping. Oh shit, Daddy Trump, Daddy Trump. Trump, thank you. Are you guys well? And it's honestly frustrating to see the degree of Stockholm syndrome that Nigerians have. This infatuation with submitting to the white supremacist force is just disgusting to watch at times. I literally cannot stand it. Is the economic situation in Nigeria horrible? Absolutely. I understand that I'm speaking from a point of privilege as someone who's in the diaspora. I get that. But to be ignorant enough to think that Trump is the solution is where I'm just like baffled.
That's how I feel. No. I don't.
Halima, I see your hand, but I want to introduce Sadia here for a second because it sounds like Alamin and Audu are saying the same thing. It's a battle for resources. So who's right?
Well, I would say they're all right because in every settlement or every environment, there are different kind of cultures. There are different people that live in a particular place. I think the major cause of all this is lack of understanding for each other.
Halima, you also come from the Fulani, which is this nomadic community that we're talking about. But herding is your way of life. So if you're being removed from the city, where do you go?
People are being pushed back to the bush, but then the bush is not safe as it is. Urbanization changed a lot of things for us as a people. While we're trying to find the balance, where to stay, whether to stay in the urban areas because of security, at least basic amenities, it's difficult for people to really live and their means of sustenance.
So Babangida here is a researcher on this topic. The cows are your identity. But it wasn't always the case that there was conflict between herders and farmers, as he's mentioned. So where did this all come from?
The issue of farmers and herders in Nigeria is something that is, for long, it was there. The conflict is all about cow and land. That is just it. And any other thing is just an ethnicity.
Halima, I see your hand, but I want to introduce Sadia here for a second because it sounds like Alamin and Audu are saying the same thing. It's a battle for resources.
Because I said it before.
This is for President Tinubu. I have an idea for you, sir. The truth's coming out about the U.S. involvement in the launching and fueling and hiding of the whole humanitarian crisis driven by Boko Haram and other groups. But here's the deal. You have a deal maker in the White House now and a man who's really trying to do good and right the wrongs of this country. I know the average Nigerian street vendor is a better deal maker than most Americans, but Donald Trump's a good one. And here's what I would propose you do. First, come out, expose everything you know about this to the light, and then make a proposal to Donald Trump. Say, sir, y'all did this. We will forgive you, but you need to come and help us fix.
First of all, how you gonna tell somebody to forgive somebody for doing something to somebody else? Second of all, Africa is not finna fight him for their land and their stuff the way you think. I'm sorry, they're gonna fight him for it. They're not gonna bow down to it. Let me fix that because I don't want nobody to feel no type of way. They're not bowing down. That's like asking Haiti to bow down at war. Are you crazy? And Haiti didn't bow down at all. Try it again.
call on the U.S. to drive out all the insurgents, bring justice, resettle and protect the IDPs, bring restoration and justice. The United States, working with you, can do this, and we can do it rapidly.
No, you cannot.
And then,
no, you can't.
two,
You're
put in
stealing. Go
safeguards
ahead.
to ensure that Nigeria's autonomy is always protected and respected. Nigerians left to their own devices can do wonderful things and build a great nation. It's a lot of the foreign meddling that causes these problems. Let's put an end to that. You and Donald Trump
Wanting
can
to
do that. And
steal.
finally,
Just heard what he said.
let the United States have first shot at your minerals, but do it in a way that's guaranteed to be clean and above board corruption.
You see, this video explains the audacity of a foreigner. It explains the mindset we've seen many times. Let's start with Reno picking a Texan, Mike Arnold, to direct Nigeria's narrative. Because in his mind, and certainly in the minds of many, once someone is from America, they automatically know more. That is the mindset I want us to talk about. Let's start with Blanco, Texas, the place Mike Arnold is from. Blanco is a very small city in central Texas. As of the 2020 census, it had just 1,682 people. Even the newer estimates, it is barely 2,200 people. It is a cattle and ranching community, which is just quiet and a peaceful place, not exactly a political powerhouse. So Blanco County as a whole has about 11,000 people. So we're not even talking about Lagos. We are talking about a street in Lekki, and you can fit the entire of Blanco into that street and still have something left. And that brings us to the sad reality about Nigerians. The moment someone lives abroad, we assume they are smarter, more educated, more exposed, more legitimate. It becomes a reflex. If he is an American, he must see more clearly. That is exactly why Reno could go out of his way to bring in a farmer from the US to speak about Nigeria's policy. Because he knows Nigerians often give more weight to foreign voices than their own people.
Y'all heard what she just said? So imagine trying to get Nicki Minaj to speak. This is how they're looking at it. To speak to Africa about what they're going through. When on top of that, they're already targeting, they're messing up the boat shippers and all that stuff in Trinidad, Tobago, and trying to take. We're gonna go look over there real quick because I want y'all to understand Trinidad, Tobago got some things going on too. So basically, they're talking about the U.S. military war. And what they're saying is Trinidad and Tobago faces heavy U.S. military presence and joint drills engineered regional tension. Minister Sean Sobers confirmed that the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force will conduct joint training with the 22nd U.S. Marine Expeditionary Unit from November 16th to the 21st, while he said citizens should not be alarmed. The sudden arrival of a powerful U.S. force has stirred unease across the Caribbean. Analysts warn the timing aligns with growing U.S. military activity near Venezuela, raising questions about what these drills truly signal for the region. Let's listen to this.
The Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force and members of the United States 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit would be engaging in exercises which would take place from the 16th to the 21st of November 2025. The Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force and the United States Marine Corps 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit, deployed to the United States Southern Command, or US Southcom, will engage in training exercises together from the 16th to the 21st of November 2025. This upcoming activity forms part of our long-standing history of collaboration between the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force and the U.S. military. Trinidad and Tobago continues, unfortunately, to be burdened by the scourge of gun-related crimes and gang violence. These intensified exercises form part of our coordinated strategy to ensure that our personnel are optimally trained and equipped to address these issues in our domestic environment, which have taken a tremendous toll on our society. The government, in our manifesto, promised to return order to Trinidad and Tobago, and this is exactly what we are doing. That being said, the focus of the upcoming exercises would be military-to-military engagements, allowing personnel from both countries to become familiar with each other's equipments, tactics, and techniques. The exercise will challenge the participants, offering them opportunities to expand their expertise and professional development. Training will take place across Trinidad and Tobago in both urban and rural environments, with operations scheduled during dusk and after dark, and several of these exercises will incorporate the 22nd Military Expedition Unit, Marine Expedition Unit, and also the Marine Expedition Unit helicopters as well too. This is one of the many side-by-side exercises that the U.S. military has long conducted in partnership with the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. It demonstrates the strong partnership between Trinidad and Tobago and the United States.
We all know how. I'm gonna stop it there. You guys can go on TikTok, but we all know how the military and are here. They're not feeling, we know. So it's like the Trinidad people are kind of like, like, no. So, I mean, using her because the fact is that they now have an intel knowing what they did to them is crazy. And I feel like y'all ain't educated enough. And then when y'all get to the polls, if it was, y'all will vote just because of that. And that's what they using y'all for. I want every barb to sit down and I want y'all to go and look at what Africa have. Then I want you to go and look at the resources that are here and what is deplenishing. There are women sitting in chairs having babies in their cars, and I'm going to talk about that later, that are being mistreated. And y'all are sitting here. Not once has she spoke on that. Not once has she spoke on healthcare. Not once has she spoke on how you're being mistreated at your job. None of that. She has been quiet the whole time. The only thing y'all want to be filled with is drama. And it's very wild to me when there are people, your parents, your grandparents, that are sitting here telling y'all what they're going through, and you feel like you are in this woman's tax bracket, and because she wants to become a citizen of the United States of America, that it is great, instead of doing it how she was supposed to. She didn't want to. And my thing is to y'all is y'all better wake up or y'all gonna get left, and they're gonna start blaming y'all. Because people going to get tired and they're going to start blaming y'all. And the backlash she going to get is not going to be a pretty one. Ain't nothing her PR can do. I don't even think she got a PR anymore. I knew it was something when she started hanging with Amber Rose and calling on her Amber Rose homegirl at office. Let me tell y'all something. Being racist and rude and mean as hell in this country is costing people their money. Picking and choosing what you want to talk about in this country is costing people their money. You cannot sit here and say you a Christian when you don't even question Christianity. And there are a plethora of things you have said about children and everything that's even in the Bible. Y'all need to wake up. They're driving this, and y'all either gonna tell your girl or get off the boat. I'll see you guys back in a little bit. I hope you like the live. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
It's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Birds singing in the dead of night. Baby's